Welcome to Speeches That Changed the World from your humble narrator. Oh, I'm a good old rebel, now that is what I am. And for this new world order I do not give a damn. I'm glad I fought against it, I only wish we won. And I don't want no pardon for anything I've done. I hate the new world order and everything they do. I hate the politicians, United Nations and the EU. I hate the new world order with all their brags and fuss. The lying, thieving bastards. I hate them worse and worse. Soldiers of my old guard, I bid you farewell. Napoleon Bonaparte, farewell to the old guard, 20th of April, 1814. This speech, bidding farewell to his army, was delivered by Napoleon Bonaparte after his failed invasion of Russia and defeat by the Allies, leading to his forced abdication as Emperor of France. The man who led France to military glory and became possibly the most famous military leader in history was actually born in Corsica. In 1779 he began military school in France, where he earned the nickname the Little Corporal because of his short stature. In 1785 Bonaparte was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the artillery, and in 1793 gained national recognition and promotion to brigadier after a successful defeat of the British at Toulon. Bonaparte was not active in French politics in the early years of the French Revolution, but in 1795, when the Royalists attempted to overthrow the Directory, he was involved in the defence of Paris. After heading campaigns through which France gained control of Italy and an unsuccessful campaign in Egypt, Napoleon returned to Paris, where in 1799 he seized political power in a coup d'etat, overthrowing the Directory. Bonaparte was named First Consul and given supreme power as head of a military dictatorship. He instituted many reforms in government and education, and in 1804 had himself crowned as Emperor of France with his wife Josephine, his Empress. The following year saw his greatest victory at the Battle of Austerlitz, in which he defeated the combined forces of Austria and Russia. By 1808 he was master of the continental Europe. Determined to defeat the British, he attempted to ruin their economy through a blockade. However, when the Russians refused to cooperate, Napoleon began his 1812 campaign against them. Although he defeated the Russian army at Borodino and occupied Moscow, the end result was the destruction of the French Grand Army, as 500,000 troops withdrew through the terrible Russian winter. The Napoleonic system, which three of the emperor's brothers had sat on the European thrones, also broke up. Born 15th of August 1769 in Corsica of Italian descent, Napoleon became an army officer in 1785 and had a brilliant military career. In 1796 he married Josephine de Beaumarchais, later divorcing her to marry Marie-Louise, daughter of the Austrian Emperor. He became First Consul in 1799 and the Emperor of the French 5 years later. Under his rule, France became a European superpower. He abdicated twice, first in 1814 when Paris fell to his enemies, farewell to the old guard, and again in 1815. died in exile under British arrest 5th May 1821. In 1813, Napoleon suffered defeat at the Battle of the Nations, and in 1814, Paris fell to forces allied against France. Napoleon said goodbye to his old guard and went into exile on the island of Elba, which was given to him as a principality. He was allowed to retain the title of emperor. Napoleon was later to make one last bid for power. Alarmed for the safety of his wife and son in France, after the monarchy was reinstated, he escaped from exile and returned to the mainland in the 1st of March 1815. Soldiers sent to capture him joined him instead, and he regained his empire once more. His rule lasted only 100 days and ended with his final defeat at the Battle of Waterloo. After his second abdication, Napoleon was jailed at St Helena in the Atlantic off the coast of Africa. He died 5 years later, aged 52. By repeated victories over a variety of European coalitions, Napoleon extended France's rule over most of Europe and revolutionised military organisation and training. However, the cost was thousands of French lives, and in any case, French dominance of Europe was not sustained. He is nevertheless regarded as the French hero, with a national tomb in Les Invalides in Paris. Napoleon's lasting legacy is a system of civil law, Code Napoleon, and many institutions bearing his name that still exist in France today. Soldiers of my old guard, I bid you farewell. For 20 years I have constantly accompanied you on the road to honour and glory. In these latter times, as in days of our prosperity, you have invariably been models of courage and fidelity. I go, but you, my friends, will continue to serve France. Her happiness was my only thought. With men such as you, our cause could not be lost, but the war would have been interminable. It would have been a civil war, and it would have entailed deeper misfortunes on France. I have sacrificed all my interests to those of the country. I go, but you, my friends, will continue to serve France. Her happiness was my only thought, and it will still be the object of my wishes. Do not regret my fate. I have consented to survive. It is to serve your glory. I intend to write the history of the great achievements we have performed together. Au revoir, my friends. Would I could press you all to my heart.